So now we have our two charcoal pencils to use for details. Now, when we're doing details, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go section by section. And really all we're doing is we're filling in the space in between the highlights and the shadows with a little bit of texture, as well as over top. We're just gonna be adding in the texture of the different elements and features of our eagle. So why don't we start with around the eye. So if we're going around our eye, when we're doing our details, the feathers around the eye are going to all go away and follow the contour of our eye. None of them are going to be going towards the eye. So what we're going to do is we're going to first add in our feathers with our dark charcoal. These little bristles right around here, we're gonna add in with our dark charcoal first. Now, in any area that's a little bit lighter, remember this isn't full shadow nor full highlight, but we have a little bit of black here already. So when we add in our white, it's going to balance it out. It's not going to be quite as dark as the shadow, not quite as bright as the highlight. We're simply going to follow where we put those darker strokes with white. Now, in sections that are slightly brighter, for example, we can see in this little section right here, that's going to be slightly brighter. So we can increase the amount of white that we have there and reduce the amount of black. But our feathers are just going to be lots and lots of little layered strokes of both our dark and our light. If we have more light, then obviously it's going to be a slightly brighter patch. If we add a higher proportion of dark, well then it's going to be a slightly darker patch. So we're just going to follow the direction of our feathers. We can maybe smudge it a little bit and then do our overlap. All right, now in this section that's a little bit more shadowed. Now we already have some more dark in there because we added it in with the shadow. But we can add in a little bit more if we want, if when we add the white, it gets a little bit too bright. Now, this little yellow fleshy section around the eye, we're gonna add in a little bit of shadow there, and then we can smooth it out by adding in some white. Then it gets a little bit brighter as we get out from underneath the overhang of that fleshy section. This section really is just all about balance. It's about balancing out the different proportions of dark and light in order to make the appropriate shade come out. But the key thing here is that we have both dark and light so that it's never as bright or dark as our shadow and highlight. Perfect, that's coming along nicely. Now, in some of these bigger sections as well, we don't even have to add necessarily dark. We could just add less light and let the gray of that paper come through. As we get further and further away, we can start at our highlight, and as we get further and further away from that highlight, do a little bit less and less. Now, at this section, where we have the shadow from where our head connects with the neck, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your white pencil and go right over that, making sure to account for there's going to be slight differences in the direction of the feather. Up on the head, it's going to be a little bit more to the side, and as soon as we get to the neck, it's going to go down a little bit. So we're just going to slowly build that up. Remember, the key or the purpose of this piece isn't necessarily to get the most detailed piece. It's just a practice, it's a study in order to understand the form, understand the shape of this species. So we don't have to get every little detail, but what we want to do is just get the impression of a texture that's there.